I have just this morning returned from a really quite a wonderful and diverse trip. The intention, the big picture intention, was to go to Vajrapani to receive teachings from Jangse Chögyal Rinpoche, who is the second in line for the Ganden throne, the leader of the what'd you call it? The leader, the head of the Gelugpa lineage. So that was a really precious opportunity. And in the meantime, I got to connect with a sister I hadn't seen in 8 years, who's very interested in the Dharma, it seems. And also then to visit with the Treasure Valley Dharma Friends in Boise, where we had a wonderful weekend of sharing about the Buddhist holidays and so forth. But I think what I want to talk a little about, to share the most, is just the experience of being at Vajrapani Institute. I don't know where in the sequence of foundings Vajrapani was founded, but Lama Yeshe was the energy and instigator behind founding this retreat center in California. It's about an hour and a half maybe outside of San Jose. Beautiful mountains in the redwood forest. It's a very beautiful place. And with certainly the blessings of the founding of Lama Yeshe and also Lama Zopa Rinpoche, they've had the opportunity to invite many high lamas there for teachings over the years. And so the place is quite blessed with teachings. And then this was also the cremation site of Lama Yeshe. And there are beautiful stupas and stuff all over. So it's very wonderful retreat center place. So this is the first time that Jangse Chögyal Rinpoche has taught there. He taught here 7 years ago. Before he was the Jangse Chögyal Rinpoche, when he was Gyume Khyentse Rinpoche, he came and taught on the grounds and paths, which was a very wonderful blessing for Sravasti Abbey, and we really hope he'll come back again. We invited him again. But I think what struck me among many wonderful things about being able to receive these teachings was that multi-generations of Buddhist practitioners that were there. So here is Jangse Chögyal Rinpoche, who is like the very next to the highest seat in all of our lineage. A phenomenal Lama who gave his commentary hours and hours every day, hardly even looking at his text. Just as fast as he could, teaching this sadhana, teaching this practice, teaching this, trying to give us the transmission for the whole thing, which he did. His translator was Venerable Steve, who has also been here translating for Geshe and translated for Geshe Jampa Tegchok for many years. But Steve was, to my mind, keeping up with him very well. He did a beautiful job of translating. And then Venerable Rene, who's from that same kind of era of Western students, was there to guide us and give us lead meditations after the commentary sessions. Venerable Rene led 1 and sometimes 2 sessions a day of meditations on the practice based on the teachings we'd had that day. There were many students that have been long-time students that knew Lama Yeshe from wherever. And then there were also a lot of people for whom this was really their first, not really their first Dharma experience maybe, but pretty close. So, there was this huge range of experience, this huge range of influences, and so to be able to experience, there are so few lamas that have the training that Jangse Chögyal Rinpoche still has. That he comes to this country, phenomenal. That somebody can translate for him, phenomenal. That somebody has been practicing long enough to give the meditations, phenomenal. And I heard many people talk about Venerable Chödrön, and because when they heard that I was from Sravasti Abbey, I was the only one that was kind of outside of the FPMT organization. So much respect for her and so much understanding that she too is of that generation that is able to take everything she learned from those amazing lamas and translate it into our Western language. Phenomenal. So the part that was most kind of precious in a way is to be in the midst of these teachings, in this environment, and to be aware of, again, the reality that when I was born in 1953, None of this was accessible in North America. Zero. Zero. And here, in less than 50 years, really, in about 50 years or so, this kind of transmission of the Dharma is taking place through the efforts of zillions and zillions of people. And everybody there contributed their practice, regardless of whether this was their first time ever, you know, and they had great questions because they were so new that they asked stimulating questions that some of us who have done it for a while wouldn't have asked, but we got different answers. It was good that they were there and you know, we had that information. It was great that the seniors were there teaching. It was great to be able to support Rinpoche. And there were some Tibetan monks there also. Venerable Trinley, who was the attendant for the Geshe that was on the pilgrimage with Venerable Simke and me, was he was there as his attendant. So it was just this wonderful connection of, interconnection of cultures, of generational strata in some way, some long-time nuns that were there, some fairly new nuns that were there, all sharing the Dharma together. So the vast network of what makes it possible for the Buddha's teachings to be able to continue to grow and thrive, and the contribution of every single person's practice, I think, is what really was clear to me. No matter what our opinion is about our own practice, no matter how piddly or we think we're doing, which is just a waste of energy, I totally understand. When people are practicing, when our people are sincerely looking to expand their minds and transform their hearts and overcome the afflictions and really cultivate the aspiration to become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, powerful things happen in the world beyond our control. We can't put out a map and say, okay, the Dharma is going to spread here and here and here and here and here and put little pins. But through the power of the enlightening influence of the Buddhas and through people's practice, through their dedication over the years, the Dharma spreads. And so I want to thank Vajrapani, I want to thank the whole FPMT organization, of course I want to thank Venerable Children and everything that's happening at Sravasti Abbey and everybody that supports Sravasti Abbey and everybody that through their practice and through their offerings and through their everything continues to make the Dharma flourish. It's really clear that it's growing here. And that is powerful and important and good for all sentient beings. So just rejoice in that.